बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आज बेटा हमारा टॉपिक है ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस एंड tubercular osteomyelitis. As I have told you, then we only discuss the important topics of bone and joints. So today is our second lecture, and it is about the osteomyelitis and tuberculous osteomyelitis. So what is osteomyelitis? Osteo means, as you know, bone, and myelitis means inflammation of bone, or an infection of the bone is termed osteomyelitis, as you know. A number of systemic infectious disease may spread to the bone, such as enteric fever. As you know, any disease can involve the bone. So the enteric fever, as you know, typhoid, paratyphoid fever, actinomycosis, which is caused by the actinomyces, mycetoma. Mycetoma is also caused by the bacteria and fungus. The important bacteria which cause the mycetoma is nocardia, and fungus is the Medullina mycetomatis. ये जो है वो पास करते हैं ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस, सिफिलिस, ट्रिपोनिमा पैलिडम, ट्यूबरकुलोसिस, माइकोबैक्टीरियम ट्यूबरकुलोस, and brucellosis is caused by the Brucella species. And brucellosis, as you know, it is the disease which also involves the animal and also involves the human due to the eating of the raw meat or due to the drinking of the unpasteurized milk. So these are the most important cause of the osteomyelitis. But any systemic infections can lead to the infection or inflammation of the bone. So all type of organisms, including viruses, parasites, fungi, and bacteria, can produce osteomyelitis, as I told you. Osteomyelitis is caused by certain pyogenic bacteria and mycobacteria are most common. As I have told you, parasites, viruses, fungi, bacteria, all can lead to the osteomyelitis. But the most important cause of the osteomyelitis, or the most important type of the osteomyelitis, is the pyogenic osteomyelitis and the osteomyelitis caused by the mycobacteria. So you can keep it in mind. Two, pyogenic osteomyelitis and or tuberculous osteomyelitis is the commonest in our area. Now number one is the pyogenic osteomyelitis. Pyogenic osteomyelitis is almost always caused by bacteria. यानी कि pyogenic का ज़्यादातर पार्ट ना viruses, parasites नहीं है, only the cause is the bacteria. और ऑर्गेनिज्म में रीचेबल, यानी कि रूट ऑफ स्प्रेड क्या है, रूट यानी कि इसका एंट्री कैसे होती है, हेमेटोजीनस स्प्रेड. सो एनी सिस्टमिक डिजीज can spread through the blood and involve the bone. और सेकंड जो रूट है वो है एक्सटेंशन फ्रॉम अ कॉन्टेजियस साइट, यानी कि अगर इन नेबरिंग स्ट्रक्चर में कोई इन्फेक्शन हो, इन्फ्लेमेशन हो, कोई डिजीज हो, इट कैन इन्वॉल्व द नेबरिंग बोन. सो द सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट रूट ऑफ osteomyelitis is the extension from a contagious site. Third cause है direct implantation. Direct implantation is that the bone is directly involved by any type of the bacteria. So these are the three important route by which bones are involved. Is number one hematogenous through the blood, extension from a contagious site, इन्फेक्शन अगर नेबरिंग स्ट्रक्चर में है तो ये बोन को इन्वॉल्व कर सकता है. तीसरा डायरेक्ट इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, यानी प्राइमरी जो डिजीज है वो बोन में हो. तो ये तीन, these are the three important route by which a bone is involved. Mostly osteomyelitis is hematogenous in origin and develop in the long run. यानी कि मोस्ट ऑफ द जो ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस होता है वो ज्यादातर जो है वो हेमोटोजीनस ब्लड के जरिए जो है वो इन्वॉल्व होती है, और ज्यादातर लॉन्ग बोन है, जैसे ह्यूमरस है, फीमर है, टिबिया है, फिब्यूला है, ऑल दीज आर द लॉन्ग बोन. सो मोस्टली ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस इज इन्वॉल्व द लॉन्ग बोन. In children, bacteria start from trivial mucosal injuries such as may occur during defecation or vigorous chewing of hard food or from minor infection of the skin. क्योंकि बेटा बेबीज जो इन्फेंट हैं, न्यूनेट्स हैं, चिल्ड्रन हैं, दे आर मोर सेंसिटिव. सो ट्रिवियल यानी कि स्मॉल इंजरी, स्मॉल म्यूकोजल इंजरीज कैन इन्वॉल्व द बोन विच आर प्रेजेंट बीनीथ, कैन इन्वॉल्व द बोन लाइक द डेफिकेशन, हार्ड स्टूल पास करें या कोई हार्ड चीज को च्यू करें तो उस वजह से यानी कि जॉ इन्वॉल्व हो सकता है. तो माइनर इन्फेक्शन भी उसके अंदर, the minor infection of the mucosal infection can involve the bone in children, not in adult. In adult, osteomyelitis is more often occur as a complication of open fracture. The fracture is open due to any injury सर्जिकल प्रोसीजर में अगर वूंड एक्सपोज हो, वूंड ओपन हो, तो उसके अंदर भी वूंड इन्वॉल्व हो सकती है। एंड डायबिटिक इन्फेक्शन ऑफ फीट, as you know that diabetes is the most important systemic disease in which the uh, immune status of the patient is impaired. So the most important cause is also the diabetes for the infection, for the inflammation of the bone. पॉजिटिव ऑर्गेनिज्म, यही हम बात कर रहे हैं पायोजेनिक की। तो पॉजिटिव ऑर्गेनिज्म नंबर 1 एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज स्टेफ ऑरियस, इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर 80 to 90%, यानी कि मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम the cause of the pyogenic osteomyelitis is the Staph aureus, Staphylococcus aureus. These organisms express cell wall protein which bind to the bone matrix component and this facilitate adherence of the bacteria to the bone. यानी कि ये जो अपनी सेल वॉल की प्रोटीन है उसको बोन मैट्रिक्स से बाइंड कर देता है, बॉन्ड बना लेता है, और ये फिर जो है वो इंफेक्शन को प्रोमोट करता है बोन के अंदर। अगर अदर काजेज ऑफ दिस पायोजेनिक ऑस्टियोमाइलिटिस इज इश्केरिशिया कोलाई, जिसका अदर नाम है ई कोलाई, स्यूडोमोनास क्लेप्सिला, और ये किन में होता है, ई कोलाई, स्यूडोमोनास क्लेप्सिला। दीज ऑर्गेनिज्म मोस्टली आइसोलेटेड इन पेशेंट विद जेनाइटो यूरिनरी इन्फेक्शन, यानी कि कोई जेनाइटल ट्रैक्ट का इन्फेक्शन हो, यूरिनरी ट्रैक्ट का इन्फेक्शन हो, तो जब चांसेस है कि वो बोन को इन्वॉल्व कर ले, और हु आर इंट्रावेनस ड्रग एब्यूजर, द पर्सन हु आर टेकिंग the drug through the vein. So these organisms mostly causes the osteomyelitis in the person who have the previous or other infection, or the person who taking the drugs, मुख्तलिफ जो एडिक्शन है, एडिक्टिव ड्रग्स है, they are taking through the IV route. Now mixed bacterial infection are seen in direct spread of infection, inoculation of organism during surgery or into open fracture. Sometimes only one organism is not isolated. There is a mixture of the organism are present. वो कौन सा था, direct spread of infection from one side to the another side, or during this surgery, during surgical procedure, any type of the surgery or open fracture में bacteria, more than one type of the bacteria are enter through this open wound or open fracture and causes the osteomyelitis. These are the most important bacteria which are present in the adult. Staph aureus है, Klebsiella है, Pseudomonas है, E. coli है। अब क्या है, इन नियोनेट्स यानी बच्चों में, छोटों में, हीमोफिलस इन्फ्लुएंजा ग्रुप बी स्ट्रेप्टोकोकाई, ग्रुप बी स्ट्रेप्टोकोकाई कौन से है, स्ट्रेप्टोकोकाई एगेलेक्टी है, आर फ्रीक्वेंट पैथोजेंस है एंड इंडिविजुअल। तो जो ग्रुप बी स्ट्रेप्टोकोकाई है, लंच फीड क्लासिफिकेशन में अगर आपको अपनी मेमोरी को थोड़ा सा रिकॉल करें, ग्रुप बी स्ट्रेप्टोकोकाई मोस्टली इन्वॉल्व होते हैं न्यूनेट्स में, ऑस्टियोमाइलिटिस में। और द पर्सन विद सिकल सेल डिजीज, यानी सिकल सेल जिनको एनीमियाज होते हैं, predisposed to the salmonella typhoid infection, and these typhoid infection can involve the bone and the bone marrow. The person who has the sickle cell disease or the sickle cell anemia are predisposed to the salmonella, यानी कि typhoid infection, and these typhoid infection can involve the bone. In almost 50% of cases, no organism can be isolated. Sometimes no organism is isolated, but the infection or the inflammation of bone is there. So this is the chance, there may be a chance that no organism can be isolated or identified in osteomyelitis. Now location, the most important location of bone infection is influenced by osseous vascular circulation which varies with age. यानी कि जो लोकेशन है इट डिपेंड करता है कि जो बोन में ब्लड की सर्कुलेशन है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करती है कि बोन का कौन सा पार्ट इन्वॉल्व है, विच पार्ट ऑफ द बोन इज इन्वॉल्व इज डिपेंड ऑन दी वेस्कुलर और द सर्कुलेशन, ब्लड सर्कुलेशन पे डिपेंड करता है। In neonates, metaphyseal vessels are penetrate the growth plate, resulting in section of the metaphyseal epiphyseal growth. क्योंकि जो metaphyseal vessels हैं वो penetrate करें, इसकी वजह से metaphyseal अकेले भी involve हो सकती है only, and they involve the metaphyseal epiphyseal, or they can involve both metaphyseal epiphyseal both. After growth plate closure, metaphyseal vessels reunite with their epiphyseal counterpart and provide a route for bacteria to seed epiphyseal and some protozoa. इसमें ज्यादातर मोस्टली जो है वो मेटाफाइसिल इन्वॉल्व नहीं होती, ओनली द इन्वॉल्वमेंट इज द एपिफाइसिस एंड सबकॉन्ड्रल रीजन व्हिच आर कॉमन साइट ऑफ इंफेक्शन इन अडल्ट। So it is very much important to locate. How we can locate? We locate by seeing the circulation. In blood circulation जो बच्चों में है वो जो है उसके अंदर पेनिट्रेट कर रही है, तो मेटाफाइसिस भी इन्वॉल्व है, एपिफाइसिस भी इन्वॉल्व है. लेकिन जब आफ्टर ग्रोथ प्लेट इज क्लोज, सो ओनली द एपिफाइसिस इन्वॉल्व. सो इन न्यूनेट्स या बच्चों में मेटाफाइसिस एपिफाइसिस दोनों इन्वॉल्व हो सकती है, अकेले भी इन्वॉल्व हो सकती है. लेकिन ग्रोथ प्लेट के क्लोजर के बाद अडल्ट के अंदर जो है वो एपिफाइसिस इन्वॉल्व होती है. Morphological feature है depending upon the duration. Osteomyelitis may be acute, subacute और chronic. Acute तो आपको समझ सकते हैं कि shorter in duration है, rapid in onset है. Chronic prolonged period से है और delayed in onset है. Subacute के जो कि पता ना चले, we can't feel any symptoms but it is present there. Subacute. The basic pathological changes in any stages of osteomyelitis are suppuration, the presence of pus. Ischemic necrosis, that the part of the bone is necrosed or dead. Healing by fibrosis, as you know, in chronic inflammation, healing, active inflammation, and destruction is taking place simultaneously. So healing by fibrosis is mostly occur in the chronic inflammation and bone repair. Bone repair is also occur in chronic inflammation. So pus is there, necrosis is there, healing by fibrosis is there, and bone repair process is also taking place along with the damage. Now you can see here the picture. Necrotic bone is present. Capillaries show the neovascularization. Purulent exudate is present, and purulent exudate is how we can see this purulent exudate. They are represented by neutrophil. You can identify the presence of the neutrophil. So you can see in a bone, necrosis is also taking place. Blood vessel, neovascularization, healing process is also taking place. Granulation tissue formation is also occurring, and purulent exudate, suppuration is there. So you can see here on the left side is the handmade picture, and on the right side you can see the 200 times magnification, and you can see here the necrosed bone is present along with the normal bone or the matrix, and the presence of the small neutrophils, the bulk of the small or the massive infiltration of neutrophils are there. So suppuration is there, new vessel formation, bone formation is there, or the necrosis, the bone damage is also taking place simultaneously in one picture. And you can see another picture, matrix is there, and you can see dark. This is the formation of the necrosed bone is there, and the presence of the neutrophils are also there. So you can see the chronic osteomyelitis with fibrosis of the marrow space. There can be a bone destruction with remodeling. As you know, in chronic inflammation, active inflammation, destruction, and healing process are taking simultaneously. And you can see all these features. Healing, yani fibrosis is there, necrosis is there, and the presence of the inflammatory cells is there. Now, sequence of the pathological thing. What are the changes? What are the events are taking place in the osteomyelitis? Number one, infection begin in the metaphyseal end of the marrow cavity, which is largely occupied by the pus. Mostly, first of all, there is involvement of the bone marrow. So, marrow cavity is involved, or it is occupied by the pus, the presence of the pus, suppuration. At this stage, microscopy reveals congestion, edema, and exudate of neutrophil. As you know, as you see in the picture, neutrophils are there. So there's a condition, excessive blood supply is there, edema, swelling is there, exudate of neutrophils are there. The tension in the marrow cavity is increased due to the pus. Because of the excessive amount of pus is present, so tension is developed in the marrow, bone marrow, and result in spread of infection along the marrow cavity into the endosteum and into the Haversian and Walkman canal. As I have told you, the Haversian, what is Haversian canal? Which is present is a narrow tube-like structure which contain blood vessels and nerves, and Walkman canal which connect the periosteum to the Haversian canal, different parts of the Haversian canal. So, due to the involvement of the Haversian canal and Walkman canal, causing periosteolytis, and the covering is also involved. It starts from the marrow, bone marrow, Then it involves the Haversian or through the Haversian canal and the Walkman canal. It involves the periosteum and it leads to the periosteitis, inflammation of the periosteum. The infection may reach the subperiosteal space. When involved the periosteum, the subperiosteal space, below the periosteum is also involved, space forming subperiosteal abscesses. It may penetrate through the cortex, creating creating draining skin sinus tract. When it reaches to the skin, it produces a sinus. One end is open, other end is closed. Combination of suppuration and impaired blood supply to the cortical bone result in erosion, thinning and infarction necrosis of the cortex. For sequestrum, bone is become thin, bone is become necrose, and or it involves the cortex. So इसको क्या कहेंगे? Sequestrum. The important name is sequestrum. With passage of time, there is a formation of new bone. As you know, in chronic inflammation, healing is also taking place, regeneration is taking place, so new bone beneath the periosteum is present over the infected bone. This form an incaving sheath around the necrosed bone. So the necrosed bone is there. There is a formation of new bone over the necrosed bone, and this process is known as involucrum. Involucrum has irregular surface and has perforation through which discharging sinus tract passes. So you can see here these the sequestrum means the bone is become necrosed, bone is become thin, and but new bone is formed over the sequestrum, which is called as the involucrum. So two most important passes there. Sequestrum is there, involucrum is there. Long continued new osteogenesis, यानी कि formation of new bone give rise to a dense sclerotic pattern of the osteomyelitis. Sclerotic means that bone is become dense, bone is become thick. So the thick or pus is reduced. So it is called chronic sclerosing non-suppurative osteomyelitis of the gear. Gear जो scientists have discovered किया, तो chronic sclerosing non-suppurative osteomyelitis of gear. तो सबसे पहले हो गई सपुरेशन हो गई, फिर उसके बाद जो है बोन नेक्रोसिस हो गई, then is the new bone formation हो गई, then bone is become dense or thick. It is called as the chronic sclerosing non-suppurative osteomyelitis of gear. After this, occasional acute osteomyelitis may be contained to a localized area and wall of fibrous tissue and cranial tissue. This is from Brody vessel. वैसे तो जो स्प्रेड हो रही है, लेकिन समटाइम वो स्प्रेड नहीं होती. Only a part of the bone is involved. A localized area is involved, which is wall of which are surrounded by the fibrous tissue and granulation tissue. It is called as the Brody vessel. In vertebral pyogenic osteomyelitis, infection begins from the disc. तो इसको क्या कहेंगे? The name is given discitis and spread to involve the vertebral body. First of all, the pyogenic osteomyelitis involves the intervertebral disc and then involves the vertebral body. So the most important is the suppuration, necrosis of the bone, which is called as the sequestrum. There is a formation of new bone, involucrum, and sometimes it is localized to an area. When it is localized to the area, it is called Brody's abscess. So these are the most important pathological events in the pyogenic osteomyelitis. Now you can see the picture. This is the osteomyelitis. You can see there is the involvement of the tibia or fibula. And here you can see the sequestrum is the necrotic bone that is embedded in the pus infected granulation tissue. Involucrum is the new bone laid down by the periosteum that surrounds the sequestrum. Right? और तीसरा है cloaca. Cloaca is the opening in the involucrum through which the pus and sequestrum make their way. वही जो मैंने आपको बताया था, open sinus हो जाएगा जहाँ से पस जो है वो निकलती रहेगी, ड्रेन होती रहेगी, open sinus tract. तो इसको कहेंगे cloaca है. Now you can see the sequestrum, you can see the involucrum. Another picture, involucrum, sequestrum. You can see here, and this is the Brody's abscess. And you can see the translucent area, and this is localized, and it is surrounded by, and it is localized, and it is demarcated by a line, which shows the presence of the fibrous tissue walling off. So this is the Brody's abscess, and shown by the X-ray. Another picture of Brodie's abscess, you can see grossly, and you can see on the X-ray Brodie's abscess, which is a localized osteomyelitis wall of the abscess. It is called Brodie's abscess. Now, the clinical course. Hematogenous osteomyelitis manifests as an acute systemic illness with malaise, fever, chills, leukocytosis, marked to intense throbbing pain over the affected area. In other instances, presentation is subtle with only unexplained fever, most often in the infant. Only infant में क्या होगा, सिर्फ जो है fever होगा, unexplained, और localized pain most often in the adult. Adult के अंदर जो है वो ज़्यादातर localized pain होगा, और बच्चों के अंदर in children unexplained fever. Diagnosis कैसे करेंगे? Pyogenic osteomyelitis के characterize radiographic finding of a lytic focus of bone destruction surrounded by zone of sclerosis, as I told you in pathogenesis. In untreated cases, blood culture is positive if it is caused by the bacteria, so you can isolate it from the blood culture. Biopsy and bone culture is also important to identify, to isolate the pathogen. अब क्या treatment होगा? Combination of antibiotics and surgical drainage. एंटीबायोटिक कवर देंगे, सर्जिकल ड्रेनेज करेंगे, पस को क्लीन करेंगे वुंड को. In 5 to 25% of cases, acute osteomyelitis fail to resolve and persist as chronic infection. It is not completely treated and it remains there and it causes the chronic infection. Chronic infection may develop when there is delay in diagnosis, when exactly not the diagnose or not we isolate the bacteria, so we cannot give the specific antibiotic to the patient. So when the treatment is delayed, diagnosis is delayed, or extensive bone necrosis is there, or inadequate bone therapy, or weakened host defense. So these are the certain points which lead to the changes of the acute osteomyelitis into the chronic osteomyelitis. Otherwise, it is treated by the surgical drainage or the use of the antibiotic. The course of chronic infection may be punctuated by acute flare. And if the chronic infection is remain there, but there is an acute flare of this infection. These are usually spontaneous and may occur after a year of dormancy. It remains for a prolonged period of the time, but after some time when the immune status of the patient is disturbed, it can, this chronic is flare up by the acute infection. Now, in the last part, we see what are the complications of this pyogenic osteomyelitis. Septicemia, as you know, the presence of the toxins in the blood, acute bacterial arthritis, the involvement of the joint. Pathological fracture, as you know, the fracture which are caused by the injury is the normal fracture, and the pathological fracture which are not caused by the injury, these are the fractures which are caused by the disease, which are occurred due to a disease process. These type of fracture are called pathological fracture. Development of squamous cell carcinoma in long-standing cases. As you know, that it involves the surrounding skin. So when this osteomyelitis is remain for a prolonged period of the time, so the continuous insult of the neighboring skin, neighboring structure can lead to the development of the squamous cell carcinoma. As you know, the long-standing cases, not in acute cases. Secondary amyloidosis in long-standing cases. Amyloidosis कैसे होगी? As you know, the primary amyloidosis due to the defect in the DNA. But in secondary amyloidosis, the presence of the insoluble, not soluble, insoluble type of the protein is there. And when they remain for a prolonged period of the time, this amyloid protein lead to the development of the secondary amyloidosis. These are the most important complications. Vertebral osteomyelitis may cause vertebral collapse. As you know, if the disc is involved, then vertebrae is involved. Vertebral osteomyelitis can lead to the vertebral collapse with paravertebral abscesses, yani ke abscess which are involved on the side of the vertebrae. Epidural abscess, the dura metal, they are present on the side of the dura metal. And cord compression, there is a cord compression, vertebral cord compression, and neural deficit. When it involves the spinal cord compression is there. So the nerves which are emerging from these, so there is a defect in these nerves. So these are the most dangerous complication of the vertebral osteomyelitis, which causes the vertebral collapse, vertebral abscesses, epidural abscesses, now the cord compression and neural deficit, paraplegia हो सकता है, quadriplegia हो सकता है, quadri नहीं, paraplegia जो है ज़्यादातर important stage वो है. So these are the most important complications of the pyogenic osteomyelitis. Now the second topic is tuberculous osteomyelitis. Tuberculous osteomyelitis rare in developed country, as you know, but is common condition underdeveloped and developing. जो हमारा area है in our country, this is now it is controlled, but mostly the tuberculous osteomyelitis is the problem of the developing countries, not the developed countries. Mycobacterium tuberculosis reach the bone marrow and synovium commonly by hematogenous dissemination from infection elsewhere. When, as you know, the infection is present in any other part of the body, tuberculosis is there in any part of the body. It can spread through the blood and it involves the bone and it causes the tuberculous osteomyelitis. And usually क्या इसके ज़्यादा important जो वो है organ है lungs है और infrequently by direct extension from pulmonary or gastrointestinal tuberculosis. एक तो ये हेमेटोजीनस रूट है, नंबर वन तो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है, हेमेटोजीनस स्प्रेड, और सेकंड ये है कि डायरेक्ट एक्सटेंशन हो पल्मोनरी ट्यूबरक्लोसिस की या गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल ट्यूबरक्लोसिस की टू द नेबरिंग बोन. तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज हेमेटोजीनस एंड द सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट रूट is the direct extension. Disease affect adolescent and young adult more often. बच्चों में नहीं, लेकिन adolescent youngs में और young adult में और adolescent में it involves mostly tuberculous osteomyelitis. Spine and bone of extremities are mostly affected. Bone infection may persist for years before being recovered. It remains for a prolonged period of the time, but when immunity is compromised or maybe any other disease is present, then it produces symptoms. Affected individual present with localized pain यानी कि जो bone involved है, low grade fever, chills and bad breath. As you know, these are the common symptoms of the tuberculosis. Infection is usually solitary except in immunocompromised individuals. Immunocompromised individual में solitary नहीं होगी. Most of the time it is solitary. A single infection, single part of the bone is involved. Mycobacterial osteomyelitis is more destructive and resistant to control than pyogenic osteomyelitis. ये जो बहुत वार्निंग साइन है कि अगर माइकोबैक्टीरियल ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस है तो ये ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रॉय करेगी, बहुत ज़्यादा रेजिस्टेंट होती है टू द ट्रीटमेंट एज कम्पेयर टू द पायोजेनिक ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस. पायोजेनिक ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम अगर उसकी सही ट्रीटमेंट हो जाए, सही एंटीबायोटिक जो है वो ब्लड कल्चर और सेंसिटिविटी में पता चल जाए तो वो क्योरेबल है एज कम्पेयर टू द माइकोबैक्टीरियल या ट्यूबरकुलस ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस. अच्छा, morphological feature, bone lesion in the tuberculosis have same general histological appearance as in tuberculosis elsewhere. जहाँ भी tuberculosis होता है, जो उसका granuloma बनता है, जो उसका feature है, वो यहाँ पर होगा. And consists of central caseation necrosis. Caseation, as I have told you many times, caseation means cheese-like appearance. But this cheese-like appearance is seen by when we see with our gross examination, not by the microscopy. And this necrosed area is surrounded by tuberculous granulation tissue. As you know, epithelioid cell is there, giant cells are there, chronic inflammatory cells are there, and fragment of necrotic bone. As you know, the destruction is taking place, so necrotic bone is there. Tuberculous lesion appear as a focus of bone destruction and replacement of affected tissue by caseous material and formation of multiple discharging sinus through the soft tissue in the skin. As I have told you, there is a destruction, there is a formation of new bone, there is a necrosis, there is a presence of caseation type of the necrosis, and also it is surrounded by the epithelioid cell, and they are surrounded by the chronic inflammatory cell. Involvement of joint spaces and intervertebral disc are frequent. लेकिन joint spaces को भी involve करेगा और intervertebral disc भी involve करेगा. And here you can see the tuberculous osteomyelitis. You can see on the top of the right, there is a presence of the giant cell. Langhans type of the giant cells are there, and you can see the fibrosis is there, and you can see the bone is there. This is the जो एक band जा रहा है pink color का. It is the bone matrix. now you can see here necrosed area is there, epithelioid cell is there, Langhans giant cells are there, necrotic bone is there. So this is the histological picture of tuberculous osteomyelitis, as you know and as you study in the chronic inflammation, chronic granulomatous inflammation. सिर्फ यहाँ पर क्या इजाफी है, क्या जो है एक्स्ट्रा है, यहाँ पर नेक्रोटिक बोन भी प्रेजेंट, बाकी वही जो है वो प्रेजेंटेशन है, जाइंट सेल्स है, नेक्रोज एरिया है और इंफ्लेमेटरी सेल्स है जो कि ट्यूबरकुलोसिस में प्रेजेंट होते हैं. नाउ ट्यूबरकुलोसिस स्पॉन्डिलाइटिस या ट्यूबरकुलोसिस ऑफ स्पाइन, जिसका खास नाम है, अगर सिर्फ बोन को इन्वॉल्व करेगा तो उसे कहेंगे ट्यूबरकुलस ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस, अगर सिर्फ स्पाइन्स को इन्वॉल्व करेगा तो उसे कहते हैं पॉट्स डिजीज या ट्यूबरकुलस स्पॉन्डिलाइटिस. Spine involved in 40% cases of mycobacterial osteomyelitis. TB of spine mostly affect vertebral bodies and may be associated with compression, fractures, and destruction of intervertebral disc, producing permanent damage. Permanent damage क्या क्या हो सकता है? Scoliosis. साइड वर्ड जो है वो जो स्पाइनल कॉर्ड है वो साइड वर्ड जो है अगर डेविएट हो जाएगा इसको स्कोलियोसिस कहेंगे, काइफोसिस. बैकवर्ड या फॉर जो है अगर उसकी जो है वो मतलब के बढ़ जाएगा या एक्सटेंड हो जाएगा तो उसको काइफोसिस कहेंगे. पैराप्लीजिया यानी कि इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ बोथ लोअर लिम्ब. एक्सटेंशन of calcareous material along with pus from lumbar vertebra to the sheath of the psoas muscle. psoas muscle को इन्वॉल्व करेगा और प्रोड्यूस psoas abscess और lumbar fold abscess. तो TB ऑफ स्पाइन में क्या हो सकता है? परमानेंट डिस्ट्रक्शन हो सकती है, पैराप्लीजिया हो सकती है और जो है वो डेविएशन हो सकती है स्पाइनल कॉर्ड की in the form of scoliosis, kyphosis, or sometimes it involves the psoas muscle or it produces the psoas abscess or lumbar fold abscess. Fold abscess may burst through the skin and form sinus, and long-extended cases may develop systemic amyloidosis. Systemic amyloidosis कभी भी acute cases में नहीं होगा. If chronic osteomyelitis and tuberculous osteomyelitis remain for a prolonged period of the time, then amyloidosis is developed. Now you can see here the pictures of this. You can see the deviation of the spinal cord. It is the Pors disease or tuberculosis of spine. You can see there is a and the intervertebral disc or the vertebral compression. Vertebral body की compression हो सकती है. And you can see Pors disease. This is the MRI. Pors spine affected vertebral body. बिल्कुल डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगी, डैमेज हो जाएगी, कंप्रेस हो जाएगी. ये भी TB स्पाइन की पिक्चर है. You can see this is the psoas abscess. So it is, we have completed our today's lecture. Thank you, and you can ask any question. If you have any question in your mind, you can ask.